Hello and welcome to Cut Through the Noise. Cut Through the Noise is the podcast that helps business leaders increase sales through elevated communications and marketing. I'm your host, Aisling O'Rourke, founder of The Communications Coach, based here in the Republic of Ireland. I work with business leaders who want to communicate with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. And you are very welcome to this week's episode of Cut Through the Noise. It is the final episode of season 11 of the podcast. And I can't believe we're in the 11th season of Cut Through the Noise. If you are just joining us for the very first time, you are very welcome to the show. But a particular thank you to all my loyal listeners who have followed us since day one, and in particular to those of you who have subscribed to us on YouTube. If you're watching us on your TV on YouTube, please do click on that icon with my face on it, and the subscribe button will pop up there, and click on that. In this season of Cut Through the Noise, we've focused in on the things that you really need to have in your toolbox to kickstart your communications and marketing for your business in 2026. I mean, it's all very well and good to have New Year's resolutions and goals, but if you don't have some solid things in place, it can be very difficult to make a success of your business on a consistent basis. And we wanted to highlight some of these in season 11. Over the course of this season, we discussed the importance of a good marketing plan and what that looks like, referral marketing and referral networking. And yes, I know for some of our listeners, the word networking makes your back crawl, gives you the ick, whatever term you want to use. But stick with me on that one because it is incredibly important. And another one that I know businesses find particularly difficult is getting testimonials. Testimonials are social evidence that you can do what you say you can. And I know that sometimes, particularly as Irish people, we can find it very challenging to ask somebody else to write down or do a video about how great we are. Like, it's not really how we were raised in this country or part of our culture. While I know that these things are changing. And we also learned a few things from the Queen of Pop herself, Taylor Swift. Yes, I said that right. Taylor Swift. We spoke with an author about her growth into stardom, her role as a CEO, but also what could we learn from her in terms of marketing. In this episode of Cut Through the Noise, I want to bring you through my highlights and key takeaways from all of those lovely chats of season 11. At the start of this series, I focused in on communications and the importance of having communications systems in place. Systems, as you should know, are fundamental to the success of every business. But sometimes we get so focused in on working on the business that we forget to create communication systems as well. And no matter how big or small, you have to have a communication systems in place. And as part of that, you should have your marketing plan and your communication strategy. But in recent years, storytelling has become so trendy for all the right reasons. Telling your story as a business person is very, very important, but it's become to overshadow communication strategy, and it has reduced communications to just telling your story when in fact there is far more to it. So in episode 1 of the podcast, I really wanted to dive deep into that idea and guide you through why communication systems are so important in 2026. I will say that while we are still in quarter 1, it's a really good time to sit down and look at your communication strategy and also look at your crisis communications plan and review them. Because just like us as human beings, we grow and evolve over time, so do businesses. And if you've not reviewed your communications strategy, systems, and crisis communications plan in a while, then they potentially are out of date and are no longer serving the business that you're running and won't be there to support the business going forward, but also in an emergency, in the case of the crisis communications plan, they won't be there when you really do need them. So I would encourage you today to sit down and start that audit to see what systems you have in place, review that communications strategy and marketing plan, and look at your crisis communications plan. I mean, are the people responsible for the different roles within these systems, are they even still working with you? Is it that old and out of date, for example? Maybe it's not that old and out of date, but it just needs some tweaking, some modernizing. Maybe your thinking and perspective has changed on certain areas. It's absolutely vital that in Q1 you sit down and you review that so that you and your business can grow successfully in 2026. Now, look, I know that that's a daunting task. So if you'd like some help, that is what I do. So please do feel free to drop me a line to hello@thecommunicationscoach.ie. We can set up a chat just to see how I can help. No commitment necessary, just to get you back on track for the year ahead. In episode 2 of this season, I was delighted to be joined by Denise Fay of Achieve Marketing. Now, my conversation with Denise, we specifically spoke about the marketing plan. We outlined what it should look like, what a good one looks like, and how to make the most of it. We also spoke about the different types of media. And I think Denise did a really good job of breaking them down because there is a difference between going viral and actually having a media plan.
There's kind of 3 levels of communications. There's earned media, paid media, and owned media. And so the guy that's kind of the competitor that's blowing up in TikTok could actually just be a trend, and it could just be that one instance, and they are going to run on that for a little while. But if you have a selection of tools, selection of methods, I suppose, marketing methods within earned, paid, and owned media, well, then you're going to be a little bit more protected from that one viral video or 2 viral videos that the person on TikTok has done.
Now, when I started out communications coaching a couple of years ago, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I'd be talking about Taylor Swift. I can't claim to be a Swiftie. I mean, the last time I made a friendship bracelet, I was probably 9 or 10. But I do love her music, and I am still sore that I didn't manage to get tickets to see her when she came to Ireland. But Taylor Swift is more than just a pop star, or more than just a singer, or even more than just a musician. She is a megastar in the business world. She is one of the most well-known CEOs on the planet. Ask anybody that you meet today, they will have heard of Taylor Swift. They might not like her, but they will know who you're talking about. There are very few people on the planet who wouldn't recognise one of her songs, her lyrics, or riffs. And you might ask, why on earth are we talking about Taylor Swift on a business communications and marketing podcast? But that is because she's one of the most successful CEOs in the globe. And she's taken some really major risks and gone against the grain and won in so many ways. And there is an awful lot that we can learn from her. Now, someone else who thinks this way and is a Swiftie is a Northern Irish woman, Sinead O'Sullivan, who is an aerospace engineer, but who also went on to lecture at Harvard Business School. Sinead has recently launched a book called Good Ideas and Power Moves, 10 Lessons in Success from Taylor Swift, which I thoroughly enjoyed and I highly recommend. And in my conversation with Sinead, we focused in on what we can learn from Taylor Swift for our marketing purposes.
It's very easy to want to be, the girl next door and to have your business be like Taylor Swift, to have those values and to stand for one specific thing. But then this thing called capitalism happens somewhere in between. And suddenly you're faced with trade-offs. If you're Taylor Swift, you're like, I could make $30 million by putting my face on one brand today. And that's a trade-off. She says no. She makes hard choices that reinforce themselves over time so that customers know exactly what you do and don't stand for.
Sinead broke down step by step how Taylor Swift grew her business and the trade-offs that she had to consider, because in business, there are always trade-off and risks. And even not making a decision is a risk in and of itself. Now, we are, as I said, in quarter one of the year. And that means that for many of us, we're looking at our calendars, we're planning out the year, and yeah, setting goals for the year. But also for many people this year, we're talking about returning to in-person events because a lot of people are fed up with the online world. And there are many people trying to sell us networks and masterminds. And I know I run a communications mastermind called the Clarity Collective. There can be a lot in around all of this, and it can be really daunting to get back into networking if you've been out of action for a while, out of practice, or if you just are avoiding it because the idea of it is too daunting and it gives you the ick. And then when you start talking about networking, you have to talk about referral networking. And that in itself is a bit of a mountain that for some people makes them very uncomfortable. And that's why I wanted to delve into it deeper in this season. I was delighted to be joined by Andrew Dobbin of The Business Mindset to really tease out referral networking, to explain what it is and how it can benefit you. And I think Andrew did a really good job in explaining that it's about building a team of people that will back you and your business.
One of the first things you got to remember is, I think, come back to some of the simple training which we have done is, are you a golfer or are you a footballer? And what I mean by that is, whenever we think of a golfer, the golfer's very much on his own. He's the one who's there to get that little ball from one place to another and score the point. Whereas the footballer is the person who's got a team of people and they work together to score the ball. And in that sense, for me, that's what referral marketing is. It's very much about having a team of people. It's people who are there to help support you, advocate for you, and who are there to generate referrals for you and vice versa.
Now, as a communications coach, there is one thing that I'm constantly saying to my clients, and that is about the importance of getting testimonials. A testimonial is social proof that you can do what you claim to be able to do. Whether that's your product or your service, it's evidence that you have happy clients and happy customers who know, like, and trust you and are happy to recommend you to others. In an AI world, testimonials from reputable business people is incredibly important, particularly for service businesses. But in Ireland, we've not been raised with a culture of asking for feedback or asking for someone else to do a testimonial, to say how great you are, how wonderful your business is, how grateful people are that they hired you in the first place. It's just not something that we're particularly good at, and it can hold businesses back, particularly Irish businesswomen, in my opinion. So that's why in episode 5 of season 11 of the podcast, I wanted to delve in on testimonials to tease out what they might look like, why we should be getting them, and also to practice what I preach and ask one of my clients on air with me to do a live testimonial. And I was delighted to be joined by Aoife McHugh of Timeless Celebrations Ireland. We have been working together as part of the Clarity Collective for over 12 months now, and it has been my pleasure to see her company grow and to see all the media coverage that she has received in the past year off the back of our work together. Aoife explained that for her, testimonials really and truly is about building trust.
For me, the testimonials, it's all about trust. So we had built that relationship. Someone else had recommended you. So someone I trust had recommended somebody else that I can trust. And I think that's what's so important about testimonials. It's spreading that trust around. You can do business and trust this person to deliver for you when you are, handing over, whether it's time or money. It's very valuable to all of us.
I thoroughly enjoyed putting together this season of Cut Through the Noise. I hope that you found it valuable and informative. The season was designed to help you think differently about communications and what that might look like for you and your business in 2026. I always want, with Cut Through the Noise, to give you practical insights that you can apply immediately. And like I said earlier, communications coaching is what I do on a day-to-day business. So if you have some questions off the back of this episode that you'd like me to tease out with you further, please do book a discovery call with me. You can do that on thecommunicationscoach.ie or simply by emailing me hello@thecommunicationscoach.ie. And all the links will be in the show notes with thanks to my wonderful editor, Amanda Fitzgerald. I'm always happy to help and to guide you on your communications strategy and to help you really reach the heights that I know you are capable of. Thank you for listening. In a noisy world, clear, confident, and authentic communications will help you and your business stand out from the sea of sameness and cut through the noise.